So our priorities in DoD are very large in terms of information intelligence sharing, are often driven by the federal program manager for information sharing and the priorities that come out of that office, of which, I'd say the number one thing some of the other speakers have mentioned is that maintaining privacy and civil liberties and institutionalizing that within the federal practice. Suspicious activity reporting has also been discussed as that's one of those top priorities. Figuring out how do we reduce overclassification of data. This is one of the barriers that we have. There's a traditional mindset, probably going back to the Cold War, that we're going to make everything as close hold as possible, and how do we really institutionalize that training that I mentioned earlier to get people to realize that they can reduce that to a level that's minimum necessary to provide the appropriate protection, and therefore affords the greatest opportunity for sharing that information with other partners. Along with that is the new Controlled Unclassified Information Initiative for how do we restructure, how do we label information. There's lots of different reasons why we might have either business reasons or statutory reasons to keep information restricted, like things that are law enforcement sensitive, actual national security controls, need to know, all those things. And there's a new framework that the government's trying to adopt that we call CUI, or Controlled Unclassified Information.
Right.
And being able to really understand that and flush that out and operationalize that is one of our big priorities. And certainly being able to do what we refer to as ops intel integration, which is, I think, Dr. Morris used a slightly different term, but that's really how do I get that intelligence information to the hands of somebody who actually needs it and can access it and make it actionable.
Sure.
And being able to do that is continues to be one of our big priorities in DoD.
Controlled unclassified information. I like that. It's a little term in between sensitive but unclassified.
It's really intended to replace the term sensitive but unclassified. And
it's an interesting thing.